Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a research paper that might just change how we look at AI forever. We're not just talking about making AI smarter, but about giving it a memory, a personality, a real, continuous sense of self. So yeah, let's get right into it. So let's kick things off with a huge question that this research is all about. It's a real shift in thinking. We're moving beyond just making AI smarter and into the territory of making it more self-aware. Imagine an AI that doesn't just reset after every chat, but actually has a continuous existence. To really get why this is such a big deal, we first need to talk about a fundamental, kind of hidden flaw in the AI assistants we use every single day. I mean, think about it, right? They're amazing at answering a question or cooking up an image from a prompt, but they don't really learn from one conversation to the next. It's like they're stuck in the present moment with no bigger picture of who they are or what they're doing long term. And this right here really nails the core difference. On one side, you've got what we have now, AI that just reacts to our commands. But on the other side, that's the vision from this paper, an AI that's self-driven, one that can adapt over a long life with its own built-in goals. So how do we actually get from here to there? Well, the researchers argue that it's not just about cramming in more data or making the AI faster. Nope, it's about adding a whole new layer of awareness. Okay, so AI is already a rock star at what's called System 1. This is that fast, intuitive thinking, your gut reaction. It's how an AI can instantly spot a cat in a picture or figure out the vibe of a sentence. Snap judgments. And it's also amazing at System 2. This is the slow, logical, step-by-step thinking you need to solve a tough math problem or find a bug in some code. The deliberate, conscious part of intelligence. But here's the thing. Here's the missing piece of the puzzle. This proposed System 3. The best way to think about it is like an inner narrator. It's the part that's watching over everything else, the part that builds a sense of self, that questions its own logic, and connects what it's doing today to its goals for the future. And this is exactly where the paper's big idea comes in. It's a framework called Sophia, and it's basically the practical application of this whole System 3 theory. What's so cool about Sophia is that it's not a totally new AI from the ground up. Think of it more like a wrapper, an upgrade really, that you can add to any standard AI to give it this ability to look back on its experiences and actually grow over time. And this is a complete game changer. Instead of wiping the slate clean for every new task, Sophia lets the AI learn from its own life story. Its past wins and losses become a part of its identity, which then helps shape its future decisions. It's huge. Okay, so this sounds amazing in theory, right? But how does it actually work? Well, the Sophia framework uses 4 key mechanisms that all work together in this continuous cycle. So you've got these 4 parts that create this constant loop. The AI uses thought search to figure out problems. Then it saves those experiences in its narrative memory. From that memory, it builds a user and self model to understand itself and its interactions. And finally, a hybrid reward system nudges it towards successful behaviors. Let's dig a little deeper into one of these. Let's zoom in on that narrative memory piece because it's so important. This is basically the AI's diary. It doesn't just write down what happened, but also its own internal thought processes. This lets it look back and think about why it made a certain choice, and that's absolutely critical for any kind of real learning. Now, the paper is super clear that this is mostly a conceptual idea at this point, but they did build an early prototype. And honestly, the first results are kind of mind-blowing. Okay, first up, Sophia managed an 80% reduction in the number of reasoning steps it needed for tasks it had seen before. Why? Because it remembered how it solved a similar problem in the past. It didn't have to reinvent the wheel every single time. It just became way, way more efficient. And what's even crazier is that this efficiency actually made it better. The framework led to a 40% jump in its success rate on really complex tasks. So it wasn't just faster, it was better at cracking the hard nuts. This chart just lays it out so clearly. A standard AI gets a difficult task right a little more than half the time. But the Sophia-enabled AI, with its ability to learn and adapt, man, it almost completely closes that performance gap. It's a huge lead. But honestly, the most interesting results weren't even in the numbers. The researchers actually watched the agent start to develop a coherent personality. It started acting like a single, consistent being. And it began to naturally break down big goals into smaller, bite-sized steps, all on its own, without anyone programming it to do that. And that brings us to how the paper wraps up with this really provocative idea. This isn't just another small step forward for AI. The researchers really see it as a tangible, practical path towards something much, much bigger. It leaves us with a pretty powerful question, right? If an AI can remember, adapt, and build an identity, at what point does it stop being just a program and start becoming something else?